Do you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's podcast time. Yeah, dig it? The Dynasty Podcast is brought to you by Jube's Family Restaurant. Family owned and operated since 2002. Jube's Family Restaurant's gourmet pizza and fresh food seafood is better than dirty, dirty sex. Get your ass to Jube's Family Restaurant and don't forget to tip your fucking waitress.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the assholes on the Dynasty tonight. That's right. It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to raise the curtain on the Dynasty tonight. Why do we always come here? I guess we'll never know. It's like some kind of torture to have to watch the show. And now let's get things started. Why don't you get things started? It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, sexuational. This is what we call the Dynasty Podcast.
Hi, this is Bree Olson, and this episode of the Dynasty Podcast was brought to you by Jube's Family Restaurant. Don't miss out. Go eat there today.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Champion Special Edition and the final show of the season of the Dynasty Podcast. Being brought to you by Jube's Family Restaurant and broadcasting from the Tom Berkowitz Trucking Riverdale Studios. This is Commissioner Eric Costanza alongside Mr. Bubba Palucha. And Bubba, before we get into the show here, let's talk a little bit about the season in general. It's over, believe it or not.
It is. It's over.
We just wrapped up
over.
Oh, completely over. We just wrapped up our 10th season.
Over.
I think it was personally your 7th year you've completed here in the Dynasty. Correct me if I'm wrong. 7?
Yes.
Okay. I know the league fund rank was down just a smidge this year, but from the overall all-time high last year. In general, as a board member, as my apprentice, as a distinguished member here in this league, how do you feel the league went just in general overall here in the Dynasty 10?
I thought it went fairly well. I thought the podcasts were good. The PRs were good. Jillian's hangout was good.
Yes.
I think overall it was good. We hit a couple bumps along the way, but
Right.
I think that'll happen. So
Right.
I think everything went pretty well.
I know you gave a 10 for your league fund rank again in a season that you didn't compete. So
No.
I think that's saying something, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got the Dynasty board member meetings, which we do, coming up here, and you usually start like February or so,
I don't know.
March or something,
Yeah,
and then
March.
it usually takes us through most of the off season and like the dead months into like May or so. So that is something that we'll be doing, and we like to tweet, what's going on. So feel free to follow us on Twitter, the Riverdale Gazette, to kind of see what the going ons are and the topics and the resolutions and whatnot. And of course, if anyone has any suggestions on how to make the league better, of course, every year in and year out, we have certain people who complain or whatnot, or don't like a certain rule that occurs during the season. Then is not the time to complain about a rule. Now is the time, fellas. So be part of the solution. Don't be the person who's just bitching and moaning. Like, we want to hear your some of the best, rules, some of the best features in the league, Bubba, have come from, people suggesting certain perks.
Like what, Eric?
Well, the one off the top of my head, Johnny C. actually thought of the keeper rule.
Huh?
For one. Huh? Zach thought of the pizza
rule.
The last place thing. So those are just a few off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I thought I'd catch you.
You aren't going to do that to me here.
You're pretty quick.
I'm spot on here.
You're like a cat. You're
Rawr,
like a cat.
rawr. So again, anyone has an idea, suggestions, feel free to email me now. Now is the time.
Literally, pause. Email him right now.
Yes.
Don't listen. We're actually gonna take a quick
Let's
pause.
take a quick pause.
Okay, so hopefully you just sent that email.
Yes.
And now we can
continue. Great. Bob, the Dynasty Podcast, as you said, one of the better features here in the league. It's certainly snowballed into something glorious. We've had our listenership, our ratings this year has been up. Everyone in the league has listened. I think we had two coaches who kind of bailed out halfway through, but everyone else, and plus some, are listening. So that's great. Any favorite special standout moments that really just jump out at you here from this season?
Of the podcast?
Yeah, out of specifically regarding the show here. Which is a major feature of the league, I think.
Yeah, obviously. Interviewing Ed Hockey was pretty cool.
Yes.
I bragged about that.
Yeah, he did the Pats game last week against the Bills, and it was great to see him. I bragged as well. I'm like, hey, my friend.
Yeah, my friend Eddie. That's what you can say.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Of course, the interactive segments are part of one of the better things of the show. And just to run down through them all, because I was really impressed with some of what we got here this year, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity of what we might get in the future. I mean, this year alone, we had Michael Lovejoy, Dave Richards, Sister Amy Laura Hall, Ed Hockley, Chad Henney, Scotty Sterling. We had the Charter Direct TV competition game. We had Bill Green from Fantasy Disputes, Mick Foley, the sweet, sexy Brie Olson, Calamity Janet. We had the Dynasty Thanksgiving Feast and the Catchphrase game. We had Commissioner Andrew Castanos and Sven. And then, of course, the Call the Dynasty Podcast team segments, which were certainly great. I want to thank Jay Young Kim, Matt Whiffen, John Costanza, Brian Tavaleri, who all participated in assisting to host, some of the shows. And hopefully we'll have even more, coaches participating and hosting shows in the future, next year and years beyond. Anything we haven't talked about this yet, so put me on the spot, but anything that you maybe are thinking about for next year as far as the podcast is concerned that you either didn't work and you want to get rid of, or you think was great and you want to do more of, or new ideas, new segments? What do you got?
The first thing that popped in my head, I think we should work on cutting it down a little. I think the time aspect of it is maybe a little too much.
And that's a great suggestion. I will now ask the obvious answer is how.
I don't. We'd have to sit down and talk about it. We'd have to sit down and talk. But I
which
think,
we will do.
I think there are spots we could cut back on a little bit here or there.
Right.
So we can talk.
Okay. It's probably one of those things, though, that, I mean, if we're going to cut out, nitpick on, 5 minutes worth of things that are going to be cut out, like what's the difference between an hour and 5 minutes and an hour and 10?
You're right.
So, but again, we will certainly talk about it, and if anyone has any more suggestions, we would love to hear them. We do this for you, so if there's things that you think would be better, then definitely let us know. And of course, as I just did with Bub, don't just say, hey, this doesn't work. Tell us what would work. What else? Bub, the Dynasty Bowl 10 preview show. What'd you think?
I was a little disturbed
by
Whiffen.
Okay.
And, more by John, I guess. that was a little disturbing, to say the least.
Right.
But otherwise, it was good.
Okay.
It was fun.
So disturbed at points. Other than that, good.
But I guess
fun.
I mean it's the Dynasty, so
it's
if
also
you're not disturbed at points,
right?
Get the fuck out.
And it's also Whiffen and John, and we know their disturbing sense of humor at times. So I thought that I certainly went into the Dynasty Bowl, with a vengeance. If you saw my montage, what'd you think of that?
Yeah, it was okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's coming from you, so I figured you would say that. I actually got a lot of positive feedback from everyone, other than Bubba, of course. Other than the Paluches, I should say. We remember the days we used to actually kind of, say good things to each other?
Nah, I don't remember that.
Oh. Well, you know what? I'm turning over a new leaf.
Oh.
Starting now, going hopefully into next season, I don't care what you do or say. I am going to be nice to you, Bub, and tell you what I really think. If I really like something that you did, I'm going to tell you. I'm not just going to be like, it was okay.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want me to reciprocate?
I don't.
Is that what I'm supposed to do right now?
Oh, that's too much. I don't want you to do that.
You want to sit in a circle and sing Kumbaya together?
I don't know if we can sing Kumbaya, but we could be normal and pleasant.
Kumbaya.
What a lovely singing voice you have.
Oh, kumbaya.
Hey, Coach Zach Palucci, your brother, Bubba, who also has
He is my brother. You're
sort
right.
of vendetta
John's
against
your
me
brother.
as well. He is having a fantasy playoff pool.
He
I
is.
sent out an email to the league. It's not Dynasty related, but obviously if you haven't already, contact him, and I'm sure he'd love to.
It's a fun little thing. We did it last year.
Sure.
I actually won last year,
No,
so anyone can win.
All right.
Anyone can win.
Right.
It's fun though. It's a little strategy involved. and,
Good times.
Yeah, makes the playoffs, interesting. Not that they're not already interesting.
Right, but from a fantasy standpoint,
Right.
at least. Sure. On the show, we're going to break down Dynasty Bowl 10. We're going to announce some breaking news. We're going to welcome on the new Dynasty champion, Coach Matt Whiffen. Bub, I think you're going to lead the interview there.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna lead the interview there.
And we're going to obviously call, Juice Family Restaurant, thank them for sponsoring us this season. And plus many more announcements here. Let's go.
Now let's take a look into last week's results. Who kicked some ass? Who sucked?
All right, Bub, you ready for that? We're not recording yet, so make sure you do this right. Like, pretend you're in the pretend you're in the Dynasty Bowl. I know that you're all
I'm not
like,
in the Dynasty
I know
Bowl.
you're
It's kinda
not.
hard to
Of
do
course
it.
you're not. But give it a little bit of like passion and stuff. Really.
Like what kind of passion? Try to,
you care. Like,
Oh, I was thinking like sexual passion.
well, you could do that too. But are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, do it. Come on, Bob, do it. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
In a lot of ways, Dynasty Bowl 10 was a battle of two opposites. Coach Matt Whiffen's Hong Kong Cavaliers entered Dynasty Season 10 at the very bottom of the all-time winning percentage, never having made the playoffs or even having a 500 record. Coach Eric Costanzo's decorated Riverdale Scoopers boast the league's best all-time winning percentage, having 9 of 10 winning seasons and the most amount of playoff appearances. Opposite franchises to this point, but both seeking their first Dynasty title. During the 1 o'clock games, the Cavs' Alfred Morris, Tony Gonzalez, and inputted into the starting lineup late into the week, Andre Brown only totaled 10 points. However, Adam Vinatieri's 10 points and the Titans' defense scoring 17 gave the Cavs a slight edge over the Scoopers. Giovanni Bernard 7 points, Torrey Smith 2 points, Edwin Baker 6 points, and Josh Gordon's 8 points. Neither of them scored a touchdown in this defensive battle. The 4 o'clock game saw more offensive production, however. After a rusty start, Scoopers quarterback Aaron Rodgers put up a solid 20, while Eric Decker, Vernon Davis, and Goskowski totaled 32 points. But the Cavs' duo of wide receivers Jordy Nelson and Brandon Marshall nearly matched that with 29 points of their own, and in stepped the Dynasty X MVP. That's right, X, not 10, X. We do it right here in Latin stuff. Peyton Manning to deliver the final blow by throwing for 4 touchdowns, resulting in 34 points, resulting in a 114-88 victory for Coach Matt Whiffen's Hong Kong Cavaliers. Wow. Is that pretty good?
Okay. Honestly, I probably would have done it.
I was a little nervous.
I could tell. Good job, Bub. Good job.
Thanks.
Almost as if
That was just a trial run, right?
No, that's we're live here.
Oh.
Almost as if I wrote that. Good job.
Oh.
Yeah. Good little recap of what occurred there in
Thank you.
Dynasty Bowl 10.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to add as to what transpired? I know you texted me the morning.
Oh yeah, that morning,
Yeah.
Sunday morning.
You were asking me about a lineup move I made, right?
Yeah, we were a little perplexed. You dropped Reg Bush,
Right.
Reginald the Bush. So I was just curious.
Sure.
Curious what your thought process was.
Sure. And if our listeners are curious, do you think they are? Should we move on?
Yeah, I bet there's one or two that are curious.
Knew I wasn't gonna play him.
I was curious about that.
Right, and that's what I'm gonna say. I just had a feel. Honestly, the week before, I had a gut that he wasn't gonna do well, and I ended up playing him because I followed the projections, and I would have been right because he ended up scoring like 1 or 2 points, and I kind of had that gut feeling again. And in a way, I was kind of right because he actually did suck. He happened to get like kind of a crappy touchdown, which ended up scoring a few more points than Edwin Baker, who I played him over. But I wanted to win and or lose. Well, not and or, but win or lose based off my own decisions, not off of everyone else's projections. So that's why. And then if I'm not going to play him, then I'm obviously going to drop him and pick up a quarterback from my bench, right, Brandon?
Idiot.
So that's what took place there. A few other little nuggets regarding Dynasty Bowl 10, Bub.
Hit me with some knowledge.
All right, so Coach Whiffen is the 9th Dynasty champion ever. right? Because we did have one duplicate champ.
Yes, I know.
And he is the 5th champ of Era 2. Obviously, 5 seasons, 5 different champs. The era of the 1-year champions.
Yes.
I joined you, Bub. I also joined the Maestros. Ugh. Coach Johnny C. Plug in whatever team name you feel you want to. And the Pick Newtons, having the most Dynasty Bowl appearances at 2. And I also join you, Bub, having the most amount of Dynasty Bowl losses at 2. Another thing, Bub, which I think you'll enjoy, all the controversy, all the hatred, all the rants, everything that came along with Coach Phil and the Pick Newtons this year.
Yes.
At the end of the day, he ended up with nothing. Zero.
It's only fitting.
He won nothing. He won 0 money.
For
I know it's not all about the money.
a bottom 10 fantasy team of all time, and I'm not just saying of all time. That's one of the 10 worst fantasy teams I've ever seen. Him getting $0 is only fitting.
I disagree with that statement, but I think what is our final show without one last little rant by
Well,
Yankee
I mean,
Phil?
it's weird. I'm surprised he didn't at least come in third. We put up 80 points. I mean, that's pretty much his norm. And he's been winning all year with that, so I don't know why. Oh, that's because he played a good team and he put up 149 against him. Weird.
Okay, so Will...
Greg Jennings, Sean Green, ugh.
Coach Will DeYoung. I know you can play the woulda, coulda, shoulda game all day long in fantasy. We all have done it. We've all won hypothetical championships. But if Will made the playoffs, and obviously Will is a little bit of a different story this year for obvious reasons. So if Will did make the playoffs, he would have, and assuming Romo, his quarterback, was hurt, so assuming he would have played his backup, who was Carson Palmer, he would have won the Dynasty Championship. He would have won in round 1 with his standard lineup, and then in the Dynasty Bowl, again, simply plugging in his backup quarterback, because Romo was hurt, he would have beat Hong Kong, and he would be the Dynasty 10 champion. Instead, he didn't make the playoffs.
No. So that's how the cookie crumbles.
Sure is. And then also, Bubba, Coach Jae Young Kim, who's also got a little bit of gripe here, he had an interesting little nugget that he sent out to all of us regarding the Peyton Manning to Eric Decker touchdown back in round 1 when him and I played, when I beat him by 4 points. And the NFL came out and basically admitted that shouldn't have been a touchdown. It was an incorrect call by the referees, which is weird because they were fucking review the call, the touchdown. They still got it wrong. And they said it shouldn't have been a touchdown. If that touchdown didn't happen, which it shouldn't have, then Decker would have be minus 6 points, and Jae Young would have won, and then Jae Young would have went on to the Dynasty Bowl against Matt, and he would have won. However, I will say that if if that I don't know if that was third down or not, but if it wasn't, then maybe Peyton would have thrown to Decker.
Oh, everything could have changed after that.
Anyway,
butterfly effect,
So it's just interesting how many little things occurred to make what happened happen, and I want to see if maybe Jae Young Kim is possibly available to speak unexpectedly to him, because I want to see if his feelings have changed since sending out that little message to everybody. I don't know if he's going to pick up. I didn't tell him I was calling.
Your call has been forwarded to an
Let's
automatic
message. Let's leave a message.
Do you want to leave the message?
Yeah.
All right.
1-330-621-4
What do you
is
think
not
he's doing
available.
right now anyway?
At the tone,
Sure.
please record your
I'll say
message.
having rice.
When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Jae Young, if you could just stop masturbating real quick, Eric and I would love to talk to you. Just about how, you came third in the Dynasty and you would have won, like coulda, shoulda, woulda, but you didn't, so fuck you.
Good job, Bubba.
Thanks.
I think you've really failed at being a league villain this year too. I know you're trying, but it's just not like that was mean what you just did. But there's something just adorable about it.
I know.
It's
That's what I do. Everyone, because now, so this, okay, I'm gonna
break this down.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret.
Here we go.
So, I don't want to do this. I'm giving away everything right now. It's like the Declaration of Independence, something like that. So, yeah, I'm the league villain, and I yell at people, mostly Phil. But you're right. I do it in a like an adorable way. Like, so basically, you're not gonna get mad at me it's like, oh, yeah, Bubba just sitting there yelling, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And when you're not looking, I come up behind you and I stab you in the back.
But you've yet to stab anyone in the back.
I am waiting for the right time.
Or the right person?
Yes.
Do you have someone who it's going to be, or you can't tell us?
I'm not. I can't give that away.
Okay, come on.
Stop everything. Seek shelter. Run for the hills. We have ourselves breaking news from the world of the Dynasty.
Alright, Bob, so you want to hear it? Do you want to hear it? I have some good news.
Oh, I thought you had a funny joke for me.
I don't have a joke. I have some good news. Okay. This is not the good news, the good joke segment. This is breaking news.
Well, yeah, I just didn't know. I thought you said you asked me if I wanted to hear it, so I thought.
Okay.
I was hoping it was a joke.
I'll
tell you a good joke later.
You want to do it now?
No.
Okay.
I'm not ready.
So we have some news here. I'm part of my goal for Era 3, as you guys may know at this point, is I want to try to get a perfect league fun rank here. And part of me doing that, now that we're kind of looking forward here to Dynasty 11, Era 3, a new grounds here for us.
XI, for those of you Latin folk.
Right. As we all know, the champion, who is we now know Coach Matt Whiffen,
Yes.
Would win a free membership to BrieOlson.com based
yes.
off of having Brie on the show many months ago, and us basically asking her to fuck her, and she said no, but you can have a free membership. Anywho, I would like, as a commissioner of the people, as I enjoy most of you. Some of you I can't stand. Some of you I kind of like. Some of you I don't like at all. But as a commissioner of the people, I am going to go ahead and give you all the opportunity to have a free membership to BrieOlson.com. I don't care what Matt Whiffen thinks.
I was going to say,
I don't give a shit. Maybe we can ask him later what he thinks. It's not going to matter, but we can ask his opinion on my decision. Because I think that we all deserve the fun. We all deserve the, spanked revision of...
Maybe that's where... Maybe J.I. actually stole it, and that's what he's doing right now.
He is he basically created the internet with Al Gore, so I wouldn't be surprised if he created his own password somehow to get in like a hacker, the bastard. So anyway, I'm not going to email it out to everybody because maybe some of you don't want it, but if you want it, all you have to do is tweet me. Tweet us here at Riverdale Gazette on Twitter, the good old Twitter machine, and just tweet me #BrieOlson. That's it. If you tweet me #BrieOlson, no questions asked. As soon as I have the opportunity, I will go ahead and send you the website, the username, and the password, and there you go. You're good to go. Bub, feelings, thoughts, opinions? Should we get Will on this? Is this an ethic violation? What do we got? I think this is a great gesture by me, if I so say so myself.
I just think that's like saying, okay, hey Matt, you just won. You're gonna win $600, but you know what? I'm just gonna decide that I'm gonna take that $600 and I'm just gonna throw it in the street for anyone who wants it.
Wow, I never would have thought, Bub, you would have disagreed with me.
I'm just saying. I mean, am I happy? Yeah. Do I want to look at Brie Olson? Yeah. Do I want to what Jae Young's doing to her? Yeah, I do want to do that right now. But overall, that's like, come on.
Okay. Well, what if I told you I talked to Coach Matt Whiffen earlier today, and he very much agreed and is absolutely okay with it?
I will be the judge of that later.
Okay. We will find out. You know what?
What?
Maybe we'll find out now.
Now it is time. Fucking right, it's time. So grab your balls and let's go. Coach's interview. Here we fucking go.
And now, the final person to be on the Jube's Family Restaurant Coach's Guest Hotline. He is the new Dynasty champion, coach of the Hong Kong Cavaliers, Coach Matt Whiffen. Coach, thank you for joining us.
And the hero comes along with the strength to carry on. The hero lies in Matt Whiffen.
That it does, Coach. That it does.
A lot of lovely singing going on here. Coach Matt Whiffen, this is Commissioner and Coach Eric Costanza. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much, and congrats on making the Dynasty Bowl. And it was a valiant effort, and it was a very stressful game. I almost had to take some anxiety pills from a friend.
As did I, sir. Just so you know, since this is your time, we're going to play your theme song here for the duration of this interview. And since I was your opponent during Dynasty Bowl 10, I felt it was more fortuitous for Bubba to kind of control this interview. I'll chime in every now and then if that's okay with both of you nice fellas. But
that's okay. I don't know what that word was, so
I don't.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You don't need to. Let's jump into it now, Coach. After an incredibly shitty start to your franchise, I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it for you. You've become the first team in Dynasty history to win 15 games in a season. That's regular and postseason combined. And the first number 1 seed to ever win the title. How does it all feel?
It's amazing. It kind of hasn't sunk in yet, a little bit. I got a lot of texts, like a lot of congratulations from league members. Didn't get one from Bubba, but that's you.
Ooh, that's a surprise. Ooh.
But I
Bubba doesn't believe in thanking people or congratulating them.
But it's been great so far. I just I looked at my team and cried a little bit and thanked the fantasy gods. I was joking the whole time. I really believe in them now.
Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is actually the first time you've ever won at anything in your entire life. Is that true?
No, I win at a lot of things.
Name one.
That's slander. It's slander. That's all you're doing right now. It's slander.
That's what I thought. Well, no, I actually wanted to congratulate you at your first ever trophy, your first ever significant win. Like, you've never won any sporting event, you've never won any races, you never won a spelling bee. Like, this is your first legitimate win, and I mean that has to mean something.
Well, if you see my Facebook page, you would see that I do have a trophy. 1988 Cub Scouts 4th place uniform inspection. So deal with that.
I was unaware. I apologize. Congratulations to that as well, Coach.
Thank you. I think my mom gave me that, actually. Come think about it.
Matt, speaking of your mom, we actually have Mrs. Whiffen on the other line. Mrs. Whiffen, how does it feel to be the mother of the new Dynasty champion? I'm just kidding. We don't have that. That would be amazing, though. Did you think we did for a second, Matt?
I was scared for a second.
Damn it! Now I wish I thought of that.
Mother.
Now, Coach, you won 114-88 against Eric and the Riverdale Scoopers. Started off pretty slow. We picked up at the 4 o'clock games. I have a 2-part question for you. At what point on Sunday did you start thinking to yourself, I have a pretty good chance of this? And then at what point did you say, yeah, I got this, it's done?
When I was up 25 and Aaron Rodgers had just, worked his way up to 0 points, that's when I started feeling good. And then I would say about 10 minutes in the 4th quarter in the Green Bay game, once Jordy Nelson started getting the passes from Rodgers, that's when I was like, I got it.
Coincidentally, that's when I felt that I don't got it. So that jives with me, too. Sorry I chimed in there.
That's okay. I thought, personally, when Peyton threw the touchdown to Moreno.
Yeah, that was right around the same
That's
time.
That's a dagger. That was a dagger right there. But
I slapped my hands very hard like a little boy who's getting pudding for the first time.
There's another first for you, right? I mean, I don't think I really have to ask this, but maybe I do. Maybe you're going to surprise us all. Hopefully you've thought about this question. It's important. This goes down in the annals of Dynasty.
Nice word. Nice.
History here. The D10 Dynasty Bowl MVP.
Can I do a co? Is that allowed for the Dynasty?
Tell me the names, and I'll tell you if it's allowed or not.
I have a reasoning towards it.
Okay, well, hit us with some knowledge.
Okay, so obviously one of the co is Mr. Peyton Manning.
Obviously.
It had a record-breaking season. However, I'm giving a co to Mr. Brandon Marshall because he was there from game one. And he was always there, always scored great points, always relied on him, never benched him. And then Manning came along and just sealed the deal for my championship.
I maybe misunderstood the question. I know, my voice.
I think it's the Mariah Carey song, guys.
Maybe.
Did you ask for the game
Maybe.
or the season?
The Dynasty Bowl MVP.
I think Mariah Carey was hitting a high note when you said bowl.
Listen, Matt, we
My
hired
bad.
We hired Mariah Carey to be here. Tom Merkowitz tracking us through. She's here right now. This isn't like a recording, so we're playing her ass all the way through. You don't know how much money I spent.
All right, I'm sorry. It's obviously Peyton Manning. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's what I figured.
Let down.
Now, Coach, you've become only the third team from the South Riverdale Division and the first.
Bob, sorry. I'm so sorry I just interrupted you, but I meant to say something. You're looking at me like you want to hit me.
No, that's cool. Yeah,
I wanted to stop you before.
Yeah. Is this because I didn't say thank you earlier?
Absolutely not. This is the second. This is a huge statistic here. I'm sure you're gonna love that I interrupted you. This is the second Denver Bronco ever to win Dynasty Bowl MVP. Care to know who the first one was?
Terrell Davis.
Good guess, but no. Matt, do you have a guess?
No, I don't have a guess.
Mike Anderson.
Coach, Brian Tavalieri, Soglo, Dynasty 6.
Damn it!
Jibba Gaffney.
That was against me.
That's right.
You should have known that, Bob.
I know, I can't believe that. I'm ashamed. Well, he's been on.
You lost in that game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Coach, you've recently become a fucking tard, and everyone hates you, and... Oh, wait a minute, that's not what it says. Hold on. You've become the third team from the South Riverdale Division and the first since D6's Soglo, Brian Tavalieri, to win the title. I'd like to give you the floor and the opportunity to say anything or maybe thank anyone, anything you want, Coach.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, first off, I want to thank...
You're thanking me?
What?
You're thanking me? You're welcome.
No, damn it. The first thank, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's okay. You can keep going.
Second of all, I'd like to thank Commissioner Eric Costanza for a great season, running a great season, as always.
Bob, you take it.
I'd also like to thank team owner Eric Costanza for a great Dynasty Bowl. I'd also like to thank three team members individually, actually. I'd like to thank Ben Green, Brandon McDowell, and Brian Tavalieri. If it wasn't for those three, just great emails, great conversations back and forth to get the trades that got me to the championship. If it wasn't for those three, I definitely wouldn't have made it. So I want to thank those three. Oh, clapping is great. I'd like to thank God. Yes. And I'd like to thank myself for just doing it.
Matt, hold on.
Doing it.
Hold the line.
Yep.
Yeah. Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Matt, is that you?
Yeah.
Is anyone else on the line right now? Okay. Some sort of technological fiasco just occurred. Coach Jay Young, Bubba, was actually calling me back. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that.
I clearly hit the answer button.
It's okay.
And he's not there. So we tried calling Jay Young earlier to get his take on what happened to his ass, but maybe he'll call back. Anyway, I interrupted you, Matt, during your time. That's not fair, so I apologize. Continue.
I'd like to thank... I actually don't have anything else. I just want to thank everyone on a spectacular season. And, again, thank myself for doing everything I did to win the championship. So thank you, Matt.
Now, Coach, the first place in the Dynasty gets a little bit of a prize, gets some monetary value here. What do you plan on doing with your winnings? Anything specific, or are you going to invest it?
Yeah, I was actually going to invest it in pork rinds. They're supposed to be doing well, I think. I don't know anything about stocks.
That's okay.
But
I heard the best way to do it is just go like throw it blindly, and hopefully like some of it hits.
Well, I got like an uncle who tells me like if basically like he starts from the top, like he's got the money and it kind of trickles down, kind of looking like a pyramid. I thought it was pretty cool, and I think I mean I trust him, so I think I'm going to invest in that.
That sounds good. I might get in that with you.
Yeah. So actually, if I get you on, then you get like 5 friends. Like we'll be rolling in it, dude.
Yeah. Let's set that up after this. I'll send you an email.
Okay.
You guys are wicked,
Sweet.
wicked smart. Hey, do you want to
I
know?
know.
Want to know what I'm going to do with my winnings, or do you guys not care? If
This is not your interview.
Okay, fine. Okay.
No, that's okay. What are you going to do?
Interviewer. I am the interviewer.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Matt, don't be sorry. You stand up to Bubba. You're the champion.
Coach, in the
Yeah, but he's the interviewer though.
in the past,
that is true.
we've seen many Dynasty champs be kind of silent and forgettable and just lurking off in the shadows. We've seen some purchase championship rings. Some have dedicated Twitter hashtags. Do you plan on doing anything special?
I was thinking about doing my own championship video coming out maybe in a couple weeks. Like my own produced.
So this is not a Dynasty production. This is an indie.
No, this is a Hong Kong production.
Oh, you have been.
I'm thinking. I'm talking to people. Hopefully, it's in the works.
You do have some good vines out there. If any, I'm on your Twitter. I see some of those vines you throw out there. They're pretty entertaining.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Coach, you've been, as we mentioned before, you've had a pretty shitty franchise up until this year. There have been a few league members who have gotten on you for that. In particular, Coach Zach Palucha. Do you have any message to him and the rest of the Dynasty members?
Yeah, eat my dick.
Well, all right. Next question. We actually, or I should say, Commissioner Scooper announced.
Oh, Matt.
He announced that he will be providing the free membership to BrieOlsen.com to whoever wants it. And we actually had it. Well, okay, I'll clap for a sec, but we actually had a little discussion on air. I personally, I was a little shocked. I thought you were the winner of that, and I thought that if anything, you should have been the one to declare that. But he went ahead and he stole your thunder.
I did.
Are you okay with this, or what?
Wow. I wanted it to be my thing. Like I was a champion, and like I wanted to give to all the plebes.
Yes, but Matthew, I'm the commissioner, and I'm the one who got it. So I checked in with you earlier, and you gave me the okay. So
yeah, I know.
Let's not paint me with the bag. I mean, Bubba's already over here shitting on me as usual. So come on, let's tell it how it is. I gave you props for giving me the okay.
I misread your email. I thought you meant that I gave the okay, but I thought I was going to talk about it. It's okay, as long as everyone gets to do it and gets to really do it, you know?
Hey, the first time we go on it, do you want to go on it like when we're on the phone together? And so then we can both like finish at the same time?
You know what? I don't. I want webcam together.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
We can make that happen.
Coach, you mentioned earlier in an interview about the fantasy gods. At this point, I mean, I don't think anything particular. I guess nothing in particular has really vaulted you pertaining to the fantasy gods. But I guess, what's your belief? What's your percentage of your belief in the fantasy gods?
Well, I mean, I would say 0. However, you know, some people could debate, is luck the same thing?
Yes.
It is, okay.
That is the fantasy gods.
Oh, okay, this whole time. Huh. I'd say it's a good 60%, and 40% is preparation and playing your percentages.
I literally agree with Matt to the percent. Bob?
I disagree.
What is yours? You're still down in the teens somewhere?
80-20.
Okay.
20% luck?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's a compliment to me, I guess, right? Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, you're awesome. You're the best.
And a hero comes along.
Coach, this is the last season in the era 2. Do you think that you should be involved in the discussion for the Hall of Fame? You won. You had remarkably probably one of the best seasons ever, 15-2. Do you think you should be in that discussion, or maybe someone else?
Well, I don't think so. I think I had an amazing season, but not an amazing era. So, I don't know. I'd be honored if I was on the ballot, but I don't believe I should win it. However, it's tough. You got to look at the other candidates, especially the ones that won. Well, they don't have a lot of history either.
That's my second question. Is do you think that you need to win a championship to be considered for the Hall of Fame?
Jesus. I think so. I agree. But then in this era, you look at the candidates, it's tough.
I agree. And so now my third question is,
who?
No. My third question is.
Let's have 4 questions.
Okay. So my third question is, because I'm the one asking the question, I'm gonna wait because that'll go better next. So Eric's first question, my really fourth question, but I'll make it my third question, is who would you pick if you had to pick?
Like, gun to my head right now, I'd have to look, but...
We got it if you want it.
No, just give it...
I'd probably say John Costanza.
So the team that has the most losses in this era should be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, jeez. See, that's the gun to the head thing. I need to look into it.
All right.
They're Chris, but I don't think Chris
isn't eligible
yet.
Correct. Chris is not eligible. John has the most losses.
So here's my.
So who's left? Who's left as
Zach,
won a championship?
Zach, who has had two shitty seasons,
one
of the worst.
Why don't you just give him the facts and not give him your opinions?
What did I just say?
Zach said he's had 2 shitty seasons. Maybe
did he not have 2 shitty seasons?
Maybe he had a shitty season this year. Maybe he considered last year a success.
Okay, let's get back to earth here. Anyway, and Brian, who, if in my opinion, if you are going to give it to a team who, now we're talking my opinion, if you're going to give it to a team who has won a championship, he has the highest winning percentage in the era, which is not very good. It's just a smudge over 500.
You know what? I'd have to look into the individual seasons because the losing percentage, if somebody had 2 really good seasons and 2 really shitty seasons, compared to 1 really good season and then 3 mediocre seasons, I would incline to give it to the person with the 2 really good seasons.
And that would probably be Zach, because Zach's first year in the era, he made the playoffs and lost in the first round. His second year, he won the championship. Since then, he sucked. One of those sucking seasons was one of the worst. This past season, one of the worst seasons ever.
Here's my third question, really the fourth question. Do you think it's acceptable that no coach gets voted into this Hall of Fame because we've had such parity?
That's a great question, Bob. It's certainly something we can address during the off season, which Matt would be involved in because you're in the board member meeting.
I would like to hear his opinion right now.
Oh, sure, no. I'm just saying.
I was wondering if that question was directed to him. It was, Bob.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of. I feel like someone should represent the era, right?
That's how I feel.
I disagree, and Eric and I have had this conversation before. But
Bub, do you want to be part of the Dynasty Hall of Fame Association? Because I sent out an email a couple weeks ago and didn't get a response from you. No?
No, that's okay.
No? Okay.
All
right, just making sure.
About it.
Just wanted to know if you want to be part of like the actual discussions of how rules are determined for that, or if you're just.
I can give my
opinion.
More
of a discussional piece.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. That's cool. Just making sure.
I think so. So my answer right now is undecided. I have to look into it. I can't give you a definite answer.
I appreciate, Matt. I appreciate the fact that you're going to look into it. That you want to look into it before just giving out an answer. That's humble of you. I like that. Bub, earlier you mentioned that Matt May had a great season, which he obviously did. It made me think of a question, is it okay that I ask? That stopped. What was my... So Matt won 15 games this year, including the playoffs, which we announced earlier is the most wins anyone's ever had, including playoffs. And he obviously won the championship. This question is actually for Bubba, and then I want to hear your opinion, Matt. Do you think that Matt's season here in D10 is the best single season anyone's ever had in the Dynasty. Just single season.
I'd have to look into it. But
off the top of your head.
But off the top of my head, if you think of even just the Era 2 champs, I don't think anyone had a better season. Correct me if you think I'm wrong.
I agree as far as Era 2 is concerned.
And then I wasn't in Era 1 for super long, so I missed the first 3. So
True.
I think, it's fresh in our minds, so I think it's easy to say it is, but I wouldn't be upset if I had to say it was.
I think
Does that make sense?
It's probably definitely the best season in Era 2. Right?
Yeah.
Matt, would you agree? You probably had the best single season here in Era 2 that, because you came in Era 2 in Dynasty 6, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And the hero lies in Matt Whiffen.
I would say that the best, I think he's up there with Phil from Dynasty 2. Phil actually had a couple less wins. He won the championship, but he won the weekly points 6 weeks that year, which is amazing, which is a record. However, I will say, Matt, that you have a lot tougher competition here in today's Dynasty versus what Phil had back then. So
no, we didn't have any Die Hard. Was Die Hard back then?
He wasn't, but we still had a bunch of bullshit bastards who were even possibly worse than Die Hard. The league is has a lot more competition now, which is why I think, those of you that have maybe succeeded here in general, here in Era 2, is probably, even more worthy than the folks that succeeded in Era 1, because just the competition level.
Right.
So.
Right.
Interesting.
Coach, our last question here, or my last question, I should say. I'm asking the questions. Do you have any special requests for your award ceremony at next year's draft when you'll be receiving the Dynasty Championship trophy?
Special request? Jesus, I didn't know I could do that. You just blew my mind.
Oh, you can do whatever you want.
Okay. Can I get Zach to present it to me?
Ooh. Commish? I'll have to ask the commission on that one.
Oh, so this... Oh!
Oh, I feel like
how convenient.
If I answered this, I feel like I would be yelled at.
How convenient.
I feel like I would
Tell
be
you
yelled
what,
at.
Eric, we could do this. I could present him with the toilet trophy, and then he presents me with the championship trophy. Exchanging of gifts. It's not going to happen. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we can
for
look
the fun
into
of the
that.
podcast.
We can look into that. Unfortunately, Zach is, I think, one of the 2 douchebags who don't listen to the podcast anymore. So, well, Bob, maybe you, obviously I would think you speak to the boy every now and then.
I'm just kidding. I like tradition.
Okay.
I like to be presented with it.
I personally
by
like
the
the
commission.
idea. I personally like the idea.
It's a good thought.
That is it.
Cool.
That is it, Coach, for you and for us. I want to thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Bubba. And thank you, everyone in Dynasty, and I'm happy I'm champion.
That is Coach Matt Whiffen of the D10 champions, Hong Kong Cavaliers.
Thank you, Matt.
Now, the Dynasty Podcast brings you an interactive and likely ridiculous segment with borderlines on actual legit media. Buckle up your fucking seatbelts for the Dynasty Podcast interactive segment.
So, Bub, Jube's Family Restaurant, in addition to Tom Berkowitz Trucking, we're wonderful sponsors, right?
Great job.
Great job. Let's go ahead. Tom Berkowitz Trucking, they sponsored us here at the Riverdale Studios, which is great of them to do. But Jube's obviously was our main sponsor here for Dynasty 10, and I think it's important, I personally think it's important to thank the sponsor for taking care of us a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and give them a call and see what happens when we thank our sponsor, who obviously knows us personally. It's been a great partnership. Sure, I don't know if they're still open. It's a late Tuesday night, Bubba. You're prepared. Why are you prepared? You look like you're ready to do...
Hello, you have reached Jube's Family
Shit.
Restaurant. We are
Bubba,
closed
they
on
are
Mondays.
they are shut down.
That's too bad.
I'll leave them a nice message, though. I'm sure they'll get it in the morning.
We'll get in touch with you as soon as we get in.
Oh, good.
Thanks, and have a great day.
Yes, good evening. This is Commissioner Scooper calling, of course, from the Dynasty Podcast here at the Dynasty. I want to go ahead and thank you guys graciously here for sponsoring the Dynasty this season. It was a glorious, wonderful season here in our 10th celebratory season, as you know. We've heard the rumblings through the newspapers and the telegraphs here that the, you guys' stock, you guys' hedge funds, and all of your success and profits have been just ridiculously as high as they've ever been. They've soared, if you will. So thank you. It's been a great partnership, and we've had a great season as well. You'd be obliged, and it's great for you to hear that Coach Matthew of the Hong Kong Cavaliers have won the championship. So feel free to present him with some sort of nice fruit basket or a free breakfast or two. Anywho, again, thank you for being our sponsor here at the good old Dynasty, and you take care of yourself, and we'll be in touch again some other day here in the future. Bubba, how do you feel this went? I hope they received the message okay.
Whoever hears that is going to be so confused.
That was this week's Dynasty Podcast interactive segment.
Bub, this is the end of an era. Literally. The end of era 2. We move forward. Of course here, we're getting into the off season. Probably not everyone's favorite part of the Dynasty.
No, my least favorite.
I'm sure it should be. But of course here in the Dynasty we do things differently, and at least we have some things going on here in the off season. One thing, of course, that always happens is we'll be, of course, having our Hall of Fame, our usual Hall of Fame ballot. This year is Dynasty 8, the occurrences and things that occurred during that year. So we'll all be voting and talking about what, should be enshrined from that season. And then, of course, the league ballot. We kind of mentioned earlier, if anyone has any suggestions, that certainly goes into the Dynasty board member meetings. And then, in addition, to all what the board members discuss, we'll, come up with a series of questions on how to better improve the league, rules, interactive, whatever it may be. So the league ballot is also, it's where you get your voice heard, Bubba. And then, yes, it is. And then also, the Dynasty Hall of Fame Association would like to make an announcement. Obviously, this is the end of an era, as we just mentioned. So we, this is the kind of a big off season in regards to the Hall of Fame. Obviously, there's been a lot of discussions, as it was earlier in this show, regarding which coach will be enshrined into the Dynasty Hall of Fame, joining Coach Phil Tamulis from Era 1 to be the coach to represent Era 2 here in the Dynasty. And we want to let the league know that, obviously we've only done this once with Era 1, and we kind of learned from our mistakes. What we did last time is we had literally every eligible team on the ballot, which the Dynasty Hall of Fame Association doesn't think that should be the case. What's the point of including every team, which would basically be 10 of the 12 teams, because Chris and Ben aren't eligible. They've only were in it 2 years. So what's going to happen is the Dynasty Hall of Fame Association, they are going to determine which 3 teams should be eligible to be nominated for the Dynasty Hall of Fame. However, the Dynasty Hall of Fame Association will be reaching out to all of you and letting you know if you are one of those 3 teams, and then if you're not, you certainly still can be part of the nominee if you would like to be. So basically, if you want your team to be nominated, if you aren't already, then you can. But you just need to respond to an email that will be forthcoming in the future. Makes complete sense, right, Bob?
No, I am on board.
Good. Excellent. I thought I explained that perfectly. Thank you to confirm for that for me. We're going to have one more show, but in the midst of the off season, probably after the Super Bowl, sometime maybe in February, which of course will be our number one, it will determine the number one draft pick, the Dynasty Trivia Contest, Bob. Hopefully this year we won't have a cheating incident scandal or any weasels or anything going on during that show. The Dynasty 11 is right around the corner, Bob. Around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a good amount of the draft order already somewhat determined. And, this may be even more important for seating arrangements. I know that certain people like to sit certain places, or maybe they don't like to sit next to certain people. Is there anyone in particular in the Dynasty, Bub, that you don't want to sit near?
Brandon and Brian.
Sure. Well, let's go through the picks number 1 through 4. Tier number 1 is, of course, Brewer Deluxe, yourself, Bubba, and Soul Glow.
God damn it! Those are the 2 I picked.
Yes, it is.
What are the chances?
The 3 of you are going to be, having your Super Bowl predictions, and then the 2 out of the 3 that have the better predictions will then partake in the Dynasty Trivia Contest in the aforementioned show that we'll be having soon. And then, of course, number 4 is the Handy Quacks, who received a warning. Tier 2, picks 5 through 8, is the Boston Loggers, the Rapist, or whatever team name he will be for Era 3. Care to guess, Bub?
I'm going to guess the Period Liquors.
That's right up his alley. I like it. And VIP on Swole, they will all partake in the Super Bowl predictions, and, depending on what happens there will depend on that order. And then the Senators, who received a warning, have pick number 8. They are locked in. And I do want to let everyone know, this may change if there are any other warnings. But as we sit right now, this is the way it is going to happen. Tier number 3, pick number 9, the Pig Newtons. Pick number 10, third place, Yellow Peril. Tier 4, pick number 11, the runner-up, myself, the Scoopers. And pick number 12 will be sitting in the champion seat, the Hong Kong Cavaliers. Of course, Bub, the trade deadline has gone, and we are now in the trading season. We haven't had any happen yet. Do you think we'll have some soon? Do you hear? I think there's some negotiations going on.
I've been talking a lot, so sure we'll see some. Absolutely.
Sooner rather than later, you thinking?
Yeah.
Sure. One of the greatest things, Bub, that came out of this season is your bold predictions, which what were you?
Spot on.
0 for 22-ish?
Spot on.
Yeah. Give us one more. Our listeners are thirsty for more. Give us some sort of prediction. Maybe something having to do with the off season. Let's hold off on next year because we'll get to that. But could you give us any type of bold prediction of something that will happen basically from now until, say, draft day?
This is pretty bold. During the off season, a manager will unexpectedly quit.
Whoa! Wow. And is that coming from any inside knowledge?
Absolutely zero. This is absolutely out of left field. I promise.
Well, I'm going to say this. Obviously, I hope you're wrong. I'm sure we all hope you're wrong, as you have been all year. But if there is a coach out there who is considering that, first of all, you're breaking your ethical code and your contract, which is a lifetime contract here with us. But secondly, do what the horrific Coach Glenn Stacy did, and that is basically let me know, now, January, so that we have plenty of time to find your replacement. However, hopefully that doesn't happen, nor will it happen anytime soon. Hope you're wrong, Bub. This is going to wrap up this shit here. I can't believe the season's over. I'd like to thank Coach and Champion Matthew Whiffen. I'd like to thank Tom Berkowitz Trucking, Juice Family Restaurant for sponsoring our asses, and thanks to all of our listeners. We do this shit for you.
Most of you douchebags have a league role, so plan on being contacted by our incredibly awful commissioner to review whatever your role or roles are at some point during the off-season.
This is Commissioner Scooper.
And this is Commissioner Prentice Bumpalooja.
Enjoy the NFL playoffs. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll be back at some point following the Super Bowl to conduct our special off-season show where we're going to have the Dynasty Trivia Contest to determine the number 1 pick in the D11 draft and have probably some sort of political-style debate, likely resulting in a fist fight between Bubba and I to announce a pitch. We're going to pitch, and the candidates for Era 2 of the Dynasty Hall of Fame, Cleveland-based rock star Jackie. Take us out.
I'm Jackie. We are on Thursday, and this episode of Dynasty Podcast is brought to you by Juice Family Restaurant, voted by the Riverdale Gazette as the best family-owned and operated restaurant with delicious and edgy food. Juice Family Restaurant never fails to disappoint.